Yes, indeedy. Welcome back, world, to the one, the only Mystifying Oracle Radio, the Shadow Nation, Nathan.
Yes, we've got a really big shoe planned for this evening.
How's it going, Demon Hunter?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Special thanks to all our homes, all our sponsors. Good after we read this. Stitcher, Smart Radio, Spreaker, the world's listening. How about you? They want to know. Spreaker.com, Planet Paranormal, Geeky Antics Network, Serious Geeks, Silly Fun, GeekyAntics.net, Tent of Home Healthcare, TentofHHC.com, and of course our friends at the SYL Project Gift Share. Everybody needs, Nathan.
A little love.
SYLproject.org. Check them out. Of course, our friend Sandy down there, Nathan. She was running the Susan G. Komen 3K out in beautiful San Diego.
Is that where it is? In San Diego?
Yeah, San Diego. No, that's Chile, isn't it? San Diego, Chile. Yeah, something like that. But she's out there, guys. Hats off to you, Sandy, because I know you're listening. All her followers around the world listening in tonight. Be a cancer fighter. Knock the right out of cancer. That's what I'm saying.
Knock the ding out of cancer.
That's right. Knock the crud out of. I'm trying to keep it clean. We try to,
We try. We never succeed.
We don't succeed.
Hey, another special shout out tonight, Sean.
Yeah.
One I want to throw out there. Mm-hmm. I want to throw a shout out to Jason Harris.
Oh, Jason.
Jason Harris is now handling our promotions on Twitter. And thank you, sir, because he proved himself this evening when I posted something and then went to repost it on the Ghost and Demon Twitter page, and he'd beat me to it. So the man, the myth, the mystery that is Jason Harris. Thank you, sir. I don't know his personal website off the top of my head. I really should. I guess I should have known that before I came on. But I know he's connected to Books and Booze publication. Books and Booze publications. So,
you had me at Booze.
Check that out.
You lost me at Books.
Booze. Well, it's Booze like BOO, like a ghost.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
It could go both ways. Anyway, it could go that way.
Yeah.
So, anyway, guys around the world, welcome back to our nice, beautiful studio on this brisk November's night. It is cold, Nathan.
It is cold. I had snow today.
Yeah, it was spitting snow last night here, man. But no. What do you call it with the? It was the sleet.
Sleet.
Yes.
Sleet.
Of course.
I had sleet. I had snow last night.
Yeah.
Sleet this morning and snow this afternoon, and now it's clearing up. Of course, it clears up just in time to keep me from having to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah. It's beginning to look a lot like.
There's all those little kids sitting around going, just keep snowing, just keep snowing. I didn't study for the test tomorrow. Just keep snowing.
A little too early for that, boys and girls. You're never going to get a school delay in November. I don't think it's ever happened.
I'm in Connecticut. They get half an inch on the ground here, and they close down because they're scared to death the buses are going to skid. Not off the road, just skid. Right. And one of the kids is going to scream whiplash, and the parents are going to sue.
God, if I would have only thought of that when I was whiplash. How was your bus driver? My bus driver drove like a maniac. I mean, we were able to put the windows down and everything. And how comes there's no seatbelts on buses? You ever get that?
Actually, there is a reason there are no seatbelts on buses.
Tell me. That's why I brought it up. It's a good topic, guys.
Oddly enough, I went to a transportation museum.
Okay.
In, I believe it was right around Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Okay. And I walk up and there's this little display of a bus seat.
Doing good, all right.
Yeah. Have another drink, Nathan. By the way, folks, tonight's show is being brought to you by New Belgium Accumulation White Indian Pale Ale.
And also Schliffly. Get in chat, guys. Tell me if I'm saying that right. Schliffly Tasmanian India Pale Ale. So it's an India type of night.
Yeah, there you go.
Like an Indian type of night. Yeah.
And a Belgium Indian type of night. Mm-hmm. That could actually be a whole another race war right there. But going back to our stories here. Yeah. So I'm at this museum, and they said that the buses are configured in such a way, the seats, so that they can take an impact from the front, the back, or either side, and the seats will actually hold you into place. But of course, if the bus flips, you're out of luck. Right. But that's why there's no seatbelts on buses. If you actually go back to buses prior to 1960, the seatbelts are like in the buses. prior to the 1960s, yes, they had seatbelts on buses, and they redesigned the seats so that they would not need the seatbelts anymore. However, to answer your question about my ride on the bus as a child, we did not have buses.
Oh, yeah?
I lived in the country, and they figured you could walk to school.
Up your butt, Joe Boo.
Yeah. I had one, there was no buses. Well, I'm sorry. There was buses that I rode because I lived in civilization at the time. Not like you, but I did have a bus, but I always wondered, there was no seats because, they make the huge deal out of you got to have the car seats until the kids are, I forget the laws, they vary in different states. And, I have 3 kids, so it's musical car seats right now, Nate, because you got to put one in. You
well, your oldest obviously doesn't need a car seat.
Yeah, no, he's 15 now. He doesn't need parents.
And at this age, he's even allowed to sit at the front, right? Because some states, the kids aren't even allowed to sit in the front seat until they're 12.
Yeah, he can sit in the front seat now, but I still make him sit in the back. It kind of puts a cramp on my street cred. You know what I mean? Rolling around with kids.
Well, that's just discrimination, Sean. That goes back to the back of the bus story we were doing earlier.
I can discriminate against my own children.
That's age discrimination, and I am against it, sir.
Yeah, I'm against it, sir. Anyway, so musical seats with the car seats there, but Sis is still in one. But, I always thought because... these buses, they drive like maniacs, and you see even more nowadays.
Yeah, I've almost gotten slammed by buses. I drive for a living now. You know that. And I've been driving along, and all of a sudden these buses just come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
They're driving along, and some of them, I'll say this, some of the bus drivers are smart. Mm-hmm. They drive along. They've got to stop in like 100 feet.
Yeah.
They put on those yellow blinkers and okay, they're slowing down. Some of them, it's like yellow blinker, red, stop, kids coming out of the street, and you're slamming on your brakes. And, of course, the sign on the back of the bus says, please stay 100 feet behind the bus. Does anybody actually do that? No. It's,
can't see the sign.
What are you going to do?
Well, they had something on 60 Minutes or something where they had talked about, and they took this hidden camera out with the bus driver, and they were showing these people just whipping around, almost hitting these kids, not paying attention to the stop sign on the bus.
Do you know there are states where you are not required to stop when a bus comes to a stop? I believe California is one of them.
Maybe that's where they filmed it, because I've never I know it happens. Right? Everything happens. Yeah. But I've never not seen somebody not stop for a school bus. Nobody wants to crush a kid usually, So that's one thing.
I believe that it was California about a year or two ago. A bus stopped, and it was a highway, and on the 4-lane highways, people aren't required to stop in a lot of states, especially on those big highways. And, the house was right off the highway. So the bus stopped, and the kid got out of the bus and ran across the street. I don't know why. They're on that side of the street, and the car hit him. Uh-huh. And, I believe since then, California has, whether they've passed it or not, it has come up on whether or not people will have to stop for buses.
Yeah. You should always have to stop for buses. Anyway, Nathan, before I go...
Have you ever... I'm sorry. I was just going to say, have you ever gotten behind one of them and they come to a railroad track and buses have to stop
they have to open the
for
door.
A railroad track?
Yeah, they have to open the side door, too. You ever notice that?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And... so you're sitting there, you're driving along, and you don't even think to stop at a railroad track, and all of a sudden the bus comes to a stop right in front of you.
And you're under it.
Yeah.
I did see one this weekend, though, and it was, the little gully there, the rain drain in between the two roads going north and south, or east and west, whatever. I seen a bus wedged on those. It had went a land where the wheels weren't even touching the ground anymore. Yeah, so some bus driver had a great idea.
To try and get around the traffic there.
Yeah, I'm just going to turn around.
But let's admit it, Sean, when you and I were kids, they didn't stop for every house.
Oh, no. No. They didn't, no.
You stopped at the end of each street if you were lucky. In my case, if you were from out of town and you were coming into my school and you were being bussed in, they'd literally drive you to the town limits, let you off, and you had to walk home.
Yeah, for a long time, because I went to a Christian school, a private school when I was young, so I didn't get...
Oh, well, weren't you special?
I was. My folks had to drive, so they didn't have buses, and then once I started going to public, it was fun for like 2 years, and then when I was 22, I had to I had to realize, I'll graduate first. Anyway.
I just remember, here's another little side story. I know you want to get into everything else, but here's a side story. I remember one of my very good friends. Her name is Karen. She's one of my closest friends from high school. She came from an all girls school.
Ooh.
Then she went to a Christian school, Catholic school.
Right.
And then she went to a mixed kind of boy-girl Catholic school for high school.
Yeah.
And her senior year, she got transferred, or her family moved to my hometown, and there was only the public school. So she went to public school.
Right.
And her very first day of school, there was an assembly. And I walked in, and being one of the last ones in, I had to walk all the way up front and sit in the front seat. So there I am. Mm-hmm. You know, beginning of autumn. I'm wearing a leather jacket, boots up to my knees, leather boots. You know, and I sit down in a chair, and I'm sitting right next to this
kid.
Oh, I was a bad kid.
Oh man,
my senior year of high school, and I sit down in the chair,
like a warlock.
And I fall asleep right in the middle of the assembly, and fell asleep with my head right on her shoulder.
On
and
her shoulder,
the poor girl was literally just staring at the girl next to her, going, and she just looked over and said, "Oh, that's just Nathan. Never mind."
I love that. I love school.
And Karen, wherever you are, love you. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I love you too, Karen. Anyway, Nathan, tonight, good friend of the show, one of our great buddies comes back.
Tell me about him.
How about it? Tonight's guest. That's right, guys. Good friend of the show, like we'd already said. He is an American actor and contortionist, best known for his roles in the genre of science fiction, fantasy, and horror. Some of his epic works include the cult classic Hocus Pocus, and, of course, Abe Sapien character, the Fishman in Hellboy, Pan's Labyrinth, Silver Surfer, and, of course, his latest work on Ouija. Mr. Doug Jones stops by studio, guys, right here on the Mystifying Oracle Radio at your Shadow Nation with the Ghost Man and Demon Hunter. What do you think about that, Nate? Yeah.
I think that's awesome. Can I make one correction? I know we get mad at each other when we correct each other.
Go ahead.
Can I say this? Mm-hmm. We had Doug on the show before.
That's what
did he say when I called him a contortionist?
What did he say?
He said, "I'm not a contortionist. Mm-hmm. I'm just tall, thin, and flexible." And that's his definition, not mine.
When was the last time we had Doug on? Was it about 7 years ago? Something like that?
No, it was probably about 4 years ago, I think it was.
So kids have completed or started and finished college already. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Have your kids started and finished college yet, Sean?
No. That's why.
So you got years of bills to pay yet.
That's why we continue to do the show to hopefully one day make money so they can go to an Ivy League or state school would be fine too.
That's why we continue to do this show and our day job.
That's right. Hey, I was going to tell you though about school. You were talking about these memories with Karen and everything. It brought up something just popped in my head. I remember I went out for football in 6th grade. It was my first time to play, and the coach got me up there. Mom still laughs about this. It's terrible when your mother jokes at you, because she had told me, "Oh, you're not big enough to play football yet. You're not big enough to play football." And of course, I got bigger and I became decent at football. But when I first went out there, I was so nervous. I had been to the school like 2 weeks, and I go out and I'm putting these pads on. Man, I had never wore football pads a day in my life, right? So yes. I'm going out there. It's pouring down rain, and everybody's watching me, and we're doing our hamburger drills where you run and everybody hits you and everything. So I get on my cleats, man. I walk out on the field, and I'm so nervous. Everything's going on. And as soon as they hike the ball, they give me the ball, and I'm running. I slip, fall, and spin my wrist, man. I broke it in like 3 spots.
Ah!
It was terrible. It was almost the worst thing you could think of, right? A new kid coming to a new school, trying out, gets hurt on the first drill in football practice. You would think, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it ends up being the greatest thing that ever happened to me. Thank you to my right wrist and my right hand. No, but anyway,
you've been thanking your right hand for years.
I was going to say that. I had to thank Lucy. But no, I broke that wrist, Nate. And when you have a broken wrist, it's just like a broken arm. They went all the way up to my shoulder with the cast. I remember it very clearly because I was a chubby boy and still am. And
you were husky.
I love my husky. And my cousin wrote Super Chunk on my cast. So I had to cover it over, man, in a black magic marker because I was walking around with it. And it was so cool. But all the girls at school did that Nightingale effect or whatever.
The Nightingale effect, where they fall in love with the person they have to take care of.
Dude, it's real. It's time tested. I had a broken arm. These girls were introducing them to me. Some of them did my homework for me. They were getting the stuff for me. And when I got the cast off, there was only like 2 that stuck around. I lost like 12 of them. But I thought I'd share that story. It's effective,
those 2,
guys.
man. Those 2. It's
That's right, those 2. Thank you, ladies. I don't remember all their names.
Sean, I obviously never played football. I did try out for it once.
Yeah, you did. What position?
I did. Well,
tight end.
Tight end. Yeah. Go ahead, make the jokes. Well, my brother was a big sports fan, but when my brother was born, his arm was broken by the doctor.
Oh.
When he was born, he was a breech birth, and they had to turn him around, and the doctor broke his arm. So he was never able to play sports.
Right.
So he kind of pushed on me to play sports. And, my sophomore year of high school, I was running track, and I had an asthma attack. That's when the asthma first hit. And,
that's tough,
I was kind of labeled with the asthma there. So the junior year, I couldn't run track. So I went back and I tried out for football, and I thought I was going to do well. I was fast. I was, small. I could run the tight end. And sure enough, I got tackled. And underneath, when they landed on top of me, I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
I could not breathe to save my life. And the coach just took one look at me and said, "Nathan, you have asthma. Get out of there."
Yeah.
And that was the end of my football career.
That's a rude awakening to any sport when a bunch of sweaty dudes pile on top of you and you can't breathe.
Oh, yeah. There's some bathhouses where that's a fantasy.
Touché, sir. Touché. Anyway, Nathan, without further ado, sir.
Sure.
Oh, that's right, guys. You hear the music. It's time for that thing we do each week. G&D show in the news. It's always fresh. It's always exciting. It's strange, weird. Sometimes it's fresh, I guess. And it's straight from the G&D show vaults. And it starts right now. Yes, indeedy.
That's right, folks. It's G&D in the news. That's weird news that Sean and I pull right out of the newspapers because we like the titles.
We like news.
Of course, we haven't got the chance to read them yet, so we don't know what's inside the stories. We don't know if they're any good, and we definitely hadn't had the chance to go over them and figure out if we're going to make any mistakes. So we make a lot of mistakes, and every time we make a mistake, you take a drink. That's why it's called the G&D drinking game. Of course, if you're listening to us while driving in your car right now, we recommend you do not play the G&D drinking game. And if you have anything important to do this evening, like pick your kids up from dance recital or buy a turkey, then please listen responsibly.
Why can't you be drunk buying a turkey?
Because you have to drive it home. And have you ever seen one of those turkeys go through the window when you slam on the brakes? It's awful.
That's true.
Hey, that's right, folks. Remember, this week, Thanksgiving, if you haven't bought your cranberry sauce by now, you're in trouble.
Oh, yeah, it is Thanksgiving coming up.
It is.
Anyway, guys, our friends at the HuffPost. First up to bat, Nathan. I'm going to take it, sir, if you don't mind.
That's why I stretched out, so you'd have that up and ready.
You're so smart.
I try.
10 years on the air has not been a waste with you, sir. Anyway, guys, first up, weird news. Doctors remove wedding ring from man's penis? Apparently, we read that ahead of time there, guys. Anyway. Okay.
That's in the title. We're allowed to read the titles.
It says, ouch, an underscore. Okay, guys. Special thanks to David Moya, the reporter who did this one. Thanks, pal. A 28-year-old South African endured a rare case of penile strangulation. That happens a lot. After squeezing his wedding ring around his sex organ for erotic reasons, according to the South African Medical Journal. He made the journal, man. He made the cut.
He made the journal.
Oh, my God.
Way to go, man.
Hey, we need...
Way to go.
He probably said, Mom, you always told me I wouldn't account to nothing. I wouldn't make nothing of my life. I'm in
the medical terms.
Take that, Mom. Me and my PP. Anyway, the unnamed man, of course, was apparently attempting to use... He was attempting to use the wedding ring as a substitute PP ring, a sex toy that holds... See, I had to censor myself. A sex toy that holds blood in the PP to heighten sexual response. The ring caused the man's PP to swell up so much that he was unable to remove it. When the patient's mother brought his mother... His mother. Oh my God, man. I mean, it's not bad enough. You got the ring on your baby.
Not even your wife, your mother.
Your mom.
Well, that's really scary. Who did he marry?
I know.
His mother's the one that's bringing him in.
Dude, why are you at your mom's house? When you put your
Mom,
wedding
I've got a
ring.
problem.
Do that at home. Maybe he lives with his mom. Maybe he's on a separation. Anyway, when the patient's mother brought him to a hospital in Limpopo, drink up, guys, 4 hours after his penis was erect and blue. That sounds like a title for a song. That was according to his doctors. They said it was erect and blue. And at first, the doctors tried to cut the ring off with a tiny surgical saw, but that failed because the tiny surgical saw. Yeah.
You can't stand that sound when it's inside your mouth. Can imagine if it's down there.
Mommy! This guy could call for his mom because he's right there. At first, the doctors tried to cut the ring off with a tiny surgical saw, but that failed because the swelling made it difficult to get close to the ring without causing further injury, according to the paper. Doctors eventually made the multiple puncture aspirations with the syringe.
Draw the blood out.
Yeah, and a pink needle to reduce the swelling. A pink needle? Okay.
Must be some kind of
surgical
treatment. I don't know.
Journal term. The patient was given antibiotics and painkillers.
Trust me, you come at my junk with a needle, it's going to reduce some swelling.
I'm going to need to be sedated. What's that song? I'm going to need sedation. Yeah. Killers, presumably with a strong suggestion not to do this again, is what they figured the doctor told him. Anyway, the complete study, as well as some very gruesome other guys, can be found on the website at HuffPost.com under penis surgery. So apparently the patient's recovering nicely at home with some Vicodin and a couple bottles of wine. And a hell of a story to tell his friends and family. Wow.
Honey, I'm sorry that our wedding night was ruined.
Sorry, I was at my
Thanks,
mom's
Mom.
house.
Hey, Sean, you know, of course, why he kept his name secret, besides the obvious embarrassing aspect of this whole thing.
What's that?
He either has some really big fingers or a really small... All right, Sean, I'm pulling up a story from the title here. It says... suspected great white shark makes rare appearance in Oregon River.
This is big for you.
Do you know why this is up? I am scared to death of sharks, and I believe they are out to get me.
Yeah. They are.
They are, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Oregon, November 18th. UPI News. Thank you, Ben Hooper. A pair of men catching crabs. Well, they should be more... they should be more careful with the women they meet. A pair of men catching crabs in Oregon caught video of a rare sight. A suspected great white shark in the Columbia River.
Yeah.
Josh Robb said he and his father-in-law were crabbing Saturday west of the Austria. I don't know if that's right. Go ahead, Sean.
Okay.
When they noticed an injured seal in the water. Well, right there. If there's seals in the water, stay away, folks.
Yes.
Moments later, they spotted the cause of the seal's injuries, an attacking shark.
Oh.
Now, Sean, you and I both know that bull sharks go in rivers.
They do.
So I'm wondering how they
Freshwater.
know this is a great white. Let's read on, shall we?
I want to.
Rob captured video of the scene from about 15 yards away and posted the footage on Facebook.
Okay.
Because that's where all the great oceanographers are these days, Sean, on Facebook. And that's who you want to get in contact with them.
The highly paid ones.
It's almost as big as our boat, Rob told KGW-TV. Once we saw that, we got the heck out of Dodge.
Yeah.
Okay. Rob said he believed the predator was a great white shark, and biologists from the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife said the shark in the video appears to be either a great white or the smaller cousin salmon shark.
Okay.
Both types of sharks are often spotted off the coast of Oregon, but rarely in the river, officials said.
All right.
So... You know, Sean, this gives a little bit of possibility. You remember the 14 Days of Terror
I do.
from New Jersey?
All right.
When the great white sharks, they suspected great whites were attacking people on the beaches and swam up the river. Now, years later, we assume that they were bull sharks, not great whites. But here, I guess Oregon's Fish and Wildlife, Oregon Fish and Wildlife people get a lot of looks at great whites. I don't know.
Oregon, you wouldn't think.
They say it could have been a great white. So there you go, folks. Stay out of the water. Water is bad. Water is evil. Fish have sex in that stuff.
Yeah.
I want nothing to do with it.
They brush their teeth in that thing.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, man, Chris in our chat room, Chris was saying use a picture of Hillary Clinton to help the man with the erection that wouldn't...
Thanks, Chris. No politics.
He brought it.
But no politics.
He's a listener, a friend of the show. He's got to. Anyway, since we're not going to do any politics, next story real quick. Mall Santa loses job for telling girl Hillary Clinton is on the naughty list. Well, that's what he said.
Well, she's a politician. Every politician.
And of course, this was from Fox News. Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Way to go, Fox News. A shopping mall Santa Claus in Florida is out of a job for telling a 10-year-old girl that Hillary Clinton was on his naughty list. This comes from WKMG-TV in Orlando, reported on this Friday that the Santa was relieved of his duties at the Seminole Town Center in Sanford after the girl's mother complained. Don't tell me, what is this? The mom told mall management she brought 2 of her children to see Santa tonight. The station reported as her daughter was sitting in Santa's lap, he told her she was on his nice list and then asked her if she knew who was on the naughty list. The mother said when her daughter asked who, Santa said Hillary Clinton and laughed. Did he go, ho, ho, ho? Get it? You don't get it. Okay. The station reported that the woman wrote about the encounter on Facebook post, which noted that Clinton was the only person on his naughty list. The woman also wrote that her daughter supported Clinton. Wait a second.
Wait
a second. Her daughter.
No. You supported Clinton, and you're pushing it on your daughter.
Yes.
Just like people who support Trump push Trump on their kids. You don't make this about your kid, people.
The woman also wrote that her daughter supported Clinton in the upcoming past presidential election, as she did. A spokesman for Santa's employer in Colorado. Who would have thought? Santa's on the payroll in Colorado. NOER Programs. NOERR Programs told the station that the Santa in question, who was not named, thought it was a joke, but when the mother called to complain, he was replaced. Spokesman Charlie Russell said NOER sent the woman an apology. Russell also said that Santa was sent to counseling in human resources. He didn't know if the Santa would be returning. And of course, guys, GED exclusive, we found out later, no one can find Santa now. He's apparently been dead for a while. It can't be confirmed. Anyway, that's my side of the news day.
Sean, it was an accident. It was a plane crash. Anyway, that's right. One last thing on my end here, Sean, because I know we got to go to that time, but I just got to throw this in because you also know I'm a Disney fan.
Ooh.
And I saw this pop up. Disney World displays 300 drones in holiday light show.
Oh, how cool. Yeah.
Doesn't that sound cool? Orlando, Florida, from UPI News, November 18th. Disney has implemented hundreds of drones to illuminate the sky for a special holiday light show. Okay. The new show, now known as, have a drink, Star Bright Holidays, features 300 illuminated drones choreographed to create images including Christmas trees, birds, and other holiday music play, while holiday music plays in the background. Have a drink, folks.
Take it out.
Star Bright Holidays and Intel Calibration showcase the latest innovations in storytelling and spellbinding experience set to the holiday season. Walt Disney World Disney Parks said the 5-minute production is the longest drone performance in the U.S. Oh, wow. So there you go, folks. It should be fun. I'm sorry I'm not going to be there to see it, but my question is, Sean, Disney already has those little bracelets you wear everywhere you go, and you use them to get into your room, and they can actually track you with those bracelets. Did you know that?
Yeah.
There's a GPS in them, and they can tell you everywhere you've been. So if your kid gets lost, they can find your kid.
Right.
It's actually very clever. However, now you have a tracking device on you, and they can follow you around with drones. Make sure they don't have any like infrared cameras outside your windows there, folks.
Do the drones have like mouse ears on it or anything?
Yeah. That just kind of scares me. They've got GPS and drones now. Disney is one step closer to having their own army.
I'm excited. Anyway, Nate, we got to go to break, man.
Yeah, we do. I'm sorry about that, brother, but I had to talk about Disney with the drones.
It's all right, guys. Tonight's guest, American actor. Nathan says he's not a contortionist, but that's what it says. Best known for his roles in the genre of science fiction, fantasy, and horror. Of course, tonight, Mr. Doug Jones comes on to talk about his latest work, Ouija, Origin of Evil. Of course, his Hocus Pocus and Abe Sapien the Fishman, and those epic classics, Hellboy, and much, much more right here as you have entered the Shadow Nation. See, I did that with my voice.
I like that.
Yeah, I did. I said, I could have just said Shadow Nation, but I didn't. I said, the Shadow Nation. Anyway, guys.
Shadow Nation.
Yeah, each week on this show, because we're poor and we don't get paid to do anything, we support the other poor people. They're called independent musicians. We support them. We play a band each week that we know, we love. We support the little guy on the show. Right, Nate?
That's right, as long as they give us permission.
Yeah, well, usually they don't. We just pull it because they want it. Anyway,
they
Nathan,
want it so bad.
Name of the band tonight, guys, Suburban Outlaw. We played this one before. We're going to do it again. The song, Forget the Wells. Nathan?
Sean?
Shadow Nation, we shall be right back.
Wasting Hello, Shadow Nation. This is Steve Coulter from The Walking Dead and The Conjuring, and you are listening to the Ghost Man and the Demon Hunter show.
Hey, welcome back, Shadow Nation, to the Mystifying Oracle of Radio. Tonight's guest is an American actor. I was going to say contortionist, but because he was on last time, he's just a really flexible guy. Best known for his roles in the genre of science fiction, fantasy, and horror. Some of his epic works include the cult classic Hocus Pocus, as his character is Abe Sapien, the Fishman in Hellboy, Pan's Labyrinth, Silver Surfer, and of course his latest work on Ouija, Origin of Evil. Ladies and gentlemen, please help us welcome good friend of the show, Mr. Dougie Jones. Doug, what's up, my friend?
Hey, Mr. Dougie Jones, that is.
I love it, Mr. Dougie Jones. We got to call you Dougie.
Sean, Dougie schooled me in the back room here, and I told him our argument over whether or not he's a contortionist, and he corrected me.
Oh,
he
my
is
God.
a contortionist, but I'll let him explain how.
Oh, yeah, no. Oh, gosh. Well, first of all, I can put my legs behind my head, so therefore that's been on my resume ever since I started acting.
Oh.
but so I'm not sure why that gets Doug Jones, actor contortionist. Here he is. That should never be a part of my introduction. But it's on my resume. Therefore, when you're flexible and you can do something odd, yes, I guess that qualifies you to be a contortionist. But I've never traveled with a circus. I don't have an act. I'm not in Cirque du Soleil. I'm not a 12-year-old Asian girl who can do all that nonsense.
Believe me, Doug. If you were a 12-year-old Asian girl who could do all that, it wouldn't have been 3.5 years since we had you on the show again.
Oh my gosh!
I was going to say,
obviously this is not a family show.
well, I was going to say, Doug, since I was the young boy, since my freshman year in high school here in Indiana, I've been trying to get my heads across over my head. I don't know how to do that.
No, I know. I've been able to do that one little trick with my legs since I was a kid, and for some reason that just you get the oddest jobs because you can bend up when you're doing TV commercials in my early years, especially, and all that. So. Yeah, but the mime thing often comes into play too. I was trained as a mime in college, and I've been called Doug Jones Mime Contortionist ever since. So it's like I would love those are I suppose they're in my skill set, but I wouldn't label they're not on my business card. Well, hi, Doug Jones Contortionist.
I can move real funny ways, guys. No, but
watch this.
You're the only guy I know that can squeeze into these outfits that you get into. Do you have to butter yourself up sometimes? Like, honestly, do you have to use Vaseline or something to get into these suits? Wow.
I don't even know how to answer that.
You can take the fifth on any of these questions, Doug. It's really okay.
Well, no, you mentioned two products that would never be used in butter and Vaseline. But let's see.
What's the name brand that is used then?
Okay, I will tell you. When you're when you are sliding into a monster suit that you have to get your legs and arms into, that is very, very tight and form-fitting, that was made just for you. Right. It takes about 3 other makeup artists to help you get into that. They're tugging and pulling on every limb and yanking these bits. And to help your skin slide into this, you might either have a leotard on already with baby powder on it, or bare skin shaven down with baby powder on it. That's usually the dry, nice way to go. Other times, some actors like me use KY jelly.
There you go.
And you were making fun of us.
Well, again, at least, but KY is water soluble. So
there you go.
At least it's because like the butter.
I want to cook you, Doug. I want to cook you up.
Butter would sour, and it wouldn't that.
Under the hot lights all day.
Unless you're working outdoors in Alaska, yes. I don't see the point. Yeah.
And then that outfit's going to get really cold. Hey, was Abe Sapien, was that an outfit or was that paint?
A combination. It was. You see, I consider a suit to be something you slide into that zips up the back, but a makeup is something glued onto you, applied to you, painted on your skin, all that. So Abe Sapien was a makeup from head to toe. It was all glued onto my person in 12 various prosthetic pieces. It was not a suit.
Right.
Oh, see, I've often wondered, because I'm a fan of the TV show. It's a sci-fi show where they have the guys come out and they do the makeup, and it's
Face Off.
Face Off. I was amazed that you've never been a guest on that show.
I have been a guest 3 times on that show.
Yeah.
So thank you for watching.
Honestly, I'm a huge fan of that show, and how have I ever missed?
You're killing me, Doug.
Were you on? What years were you on?
Well, I was. You've only seen 2, or you've only had a chance to see 2. I was a guest. I was a guest judge in season 6. Then
okay, now that you say it, I do remember that. Okay,
season 6, season 8, and now season I think 13 or something, which hasn't aired yet. It's going to be their final one.
Oh! Don't say that. My wife will have a heart attack.
Yeah, because he's a big fan, Doug. He watches every episode.
No, I swear to you guys, my wife makes me sit down and watch it. Even if I come home and I'm exhausted, she's like, "Guess what? Face Off is on tonight," and so we watch it. And I will admit, Doug, I have a day job, and occasionally I fall asleep during the show.
No,
not because I don't enjoy it, but because I just fall asleep.
Well, I haven't watched every episode, so no, you're okay. You're fine.
Doug,
I swear, now that you mentioned you're being a judge, I do remember it. But I always assumed you to be like a guest star to come on and just like teach them something about makeup and stuff like that. And I don't.
That's kind of what I did.
Except for one season, which I didn't watch. I don't remember you on the show, and I feel horrible now.
No, don't even think about it. I sat in as a guest judge, one episode, season 6. Then I came back season 8, and they did have me come into the lab ahead of time while the makeup artists were applying makeups to their models on Judgment Day. And I went in to talk to the models and find out what character were they playing, and to give them some physical tips on how to perform this once they get up on stage that night. Then I came back around as a guest judge that night to see the end product. So yeah, that was so we kind of covered that.
Did they air the part where you were talking to the models? Because I've never seen that. Oh my gosh!
It was actually a pretty. It was a nice segment. It was different for them.
See, now I have to go back and rewatch Face Off because I missed an episode. Yeah. That was season 8.
Yeah,
I don't remember that, and I feel like a moron now. And,
no, don't you even think about it.
Okay, Doug. Now listen, let me jump in here because I love it.
Okay.
We got you on this show, I think, 4 years ago, and of course, you know I'm out here in the cornfields of Indiana. I'm a Hoosier, and a lot of people don't know.
That's where I come from, my home state.
A lot of people don't know that. Could you tell us about your amazing background, starting out here, like where I'm at, the humble beginnings of Doug?
I grew up in Indianapolis, Indiana, so I was in the city, but the northeast side, and went to Bishop Chatard High School and got very involved in the drama classes and the fall play and the variety show. Anytime I could be on stage, I was.
Yeah.
And my pep rallies, if they were going to do a skit, I was always in it. And so I got through those early jitters. Then I went to Ball State University.
Go Cards!
Majored in radio and TV broadcasting and had a minor in theater. And so that's at Ball State is when I discovered the art of mime. There was a mime troupe on campus called Mime Over Matter, and it's a pun, you see. And they performed a show every fall in the little theater on campus, and I went and saw this show and was mesmerized by it. And the leader of that troupe, who formed the mime troupe, was called his name was Reed K. Steele, and so he was a senior, I was a freshman, and he lived in my dorm. And he approached me one day and said, "Hey, have you ever heard of mime before? Would you want to come see one of our shows? And I think you'd be perfect for this." So I did, and then I went to their auditions, and I made it in the troupe. And so I lasted I was in the mime troupe for all 4 years, then from freshman through senior year. Yeah. Developed my own act in the meantime, and then so it kind of once I graduated college, I was a mime at Kings Island in Cincinnati, Ohio, on the streets, like scaring children all summer. And because kids don't understand a mime. It's like, why is the clown not talking?
Doug, why Kings Island? There's so many good. Why couldn't you go to Holiday World? Were you trying to break away from your Hoosier roots? I mean, come on.
Not to mention, clowns are the wrong way to go this time right now.
I mean, what's with all the violence out there? With
well, the cops did call me when this first started and saying, "Didn't you have Doug Jones on your show, sir?" Once? So, I didn't say nothing, Doug. I said nothing.
I know. Now, wait. Holiday World, is that in Indiana? Am I missing something?
Yeah, remember we had Holiday World, and that's the biggest now. And we had Old Indiana Fun Park, had all these little theme things around. But I guess Kings Island would be the more for your buck, the big time, really.
Well, it was the bigger theme park. I don't remember. Are these in Indianapolis? Where are these parks you're talking about?
Oh, God, where were they? Well, I mean, I forget where Old Indiana was. A girl fell off a Ferris wheel or something and died tragically, and they shut that down. And then it's probably good you didn't mime there because
maybe
because you couldn't have even cried for help.
But the holiday,
they were like right. Well, there were like little fairs and things like at Lake Schaefer and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's Indiana. Yeah, Lake Schaefer. Yeah,
Indiana Beach. Yeah,
that's right.
That kind of thing.
That's right. And Holiday World's in the Santa Claus, Indiana. Remember that?
Santa Claus, of course.
Yes.
Of course I do.
That's where Holiday World's at. So
yeah.
Everybody good out here though for the holidays? You coming back?
No, I wish I could. I was there for Thanksgiving last year. My brother Richie still lives in town there, and so the whole family converged on his house last year. And I was doing a movie in Cleveland, Ohio last year, so I was able just to rent a car and drive down for the weekend. And we can talk about that movie if you'd like. It's called The Bye-Bye Man, coming to theaters all across the country, January 13th. That's Friday the 13th. The Bye-Bye Man, starring Doug Jones.
Ooh.
Anyway, so
Friday the 13th.
How's that? What's that?
Friday the 13th. That's perfect.
That's a great idea for a scary movie. Good release date. Yeah.
Hey, Doug, I just want to point out that on your IMDb page, there's absolutely no mention of Face Off.
Well, it's probably because it's not under the actor credits. Look under Self. It might be under.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know if they've ever given me credit or not. I don't know.
So that's the upcoming thing, Dougie, right? You got the Bye-Bye Man coming up. Can you tell us anything?
Well, it's the poster. There's a trailer online. You can watch it if you go to the YouTube and just search The Bye-Bye Man. You'll see a trailer for it, or a couple different versions. And the poster has this repeated phrase: "Don't say it, don't think it. Don't say it, don't think it. Don't say it, don't think it. Don't say it, don't think it. The Bye-Bye Man."
Ooh.
So basically, if you say my name, I'll show up. And so these poor college kids, bless their hearts, they didn't know any better, right? It's got all the trappings of a classic horror film. It does have pretty college kids and living in an off-campus housing situation, and they find an old piece of furniture, and that "Don't say it, don't think it, the Bye-Bye Man" is etched in the bottom of a drawer. And so somebody who was haunted with the Bye-Bye Man in previous years had etched it into the, he went crazy and started scratching it into a drawer and then tried to hide that piece of furniture and kill everybody you knew. So I'm only alive if somebody knows about me or somebody says my name, and then I come back. And I have my own backstory that it's gotten into. And who explains that backstory is in a lovely cameo by the legendary actress Faye Dunaway.
Oh,
is in this? I know, right?
Yeah.
And we also have Carrie Ann Moss from The Matrix. She plays the police chief who's trying to investigate why all these deaths and murders are happening. And then the young cast is we have Douglas Smith and Cressida Bonus and Lucien. Curses. His last name is. Anyway, they're all pretty people, right. And they're all precious and wonderful actors. And so so Douglas Smith is the one who really that I haunt the most. He's the one who actually says my name out loud. So I come to visit him. I make him start going a little bit kooky. I don't do the killing myself.
Yeah.
I basically haunt you and make you hallucinate and see things that aren't there, and then not trust your friends, and then everybody's like everyone kind of offs each other. So it's like
so it's pretty much like Facebook.
So it's pretty much like Facebook, exactly. It's like no. In fact, it's very much like a post-election Facebook.
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
they're coming to get us.
Everyone's just going crazy and killing each other. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it's nuts.
I recently posted something out there that said, I know a lot of people are upset. I feel for all of you. I'm not going to say, who I think is right, who I think is wrong, but I just want everybody to get along. And I got emails back going, you just don't understand.
You hate monger.
Right? Yeah. Right? There's nothing you can say that's going to win, that's going to hug.
And
I'm just offering hugs. I'm just offering the hugs. And Come on now.
Hey, my day job is actually inspecting houses, and I actually get a lot of these off-campus houses that I have to inspect. And usually, when people bring in a piece of furniture that they found or bought,
bye, man.
The only thing they've got to worry about is bed bugs. So
right.
I mean,
you don't have to worry about like an evil spirit from the past coming back.
Possible.
Right? Yeah, no. But the imagery is going to be really cool. I'm a hooded character who the hood will come off at some point during the film, and I'll be revealed in all of my hideous glory, and so we'll see. So that's January 13th. Now, in the meantime, of course, I've completed a couple other films now. Another one where I get to play a human being.
Really?
I know. Now, mind you, I'll be the psycho killer of the film, but I'm still a human.
I'm seeing a pattern here, Doug.
Right, this movie's called Beneath the Leaves, and it stars the Oscar-winning Mira Sorvino and her dad, Paul Sorvino, very decorated character actor. And little old me. So that is a cop drama sort of story with a little, and I'm psycho killer guy with all of my reasons for doing what I do, and there's kidnapping involved. There's it's quite a disturbing story. So Beneath the Leaves, completed now. I'm not sure of a release date. I'm looking. I suppose we can look for it later in 2017. Yeah. And I just 2 weeks ago got home from Toronto where I was filming The Shape of Water, Guillermo del Toro's new film.
Oh.
And The Shape of Water will be coming out in theaters everywhere through Fox Searchlight sometime around this time next year. So look for it like during the fall of 2017.
Del Toro.
I'm sure. What now?
Yeah, he is making Dougie, and I know you're going to be in this. Don't try to fool me, sir. I've been reading up. You remember the old books with the amazing artwork that we grew up on, the scary stories to tell in the dark.
Right.
Do you remember those? Did you hear the rumblings? He's making a movie about this. People are losing their minds. I know you're going to be in it. I just spent 3 months with the man, and he mentioned it to me never once. So, so that doesn't mean yes, I'm sure. I also read the same articles you did that this is happening, but he didn't tell me about my involvement in anything like that. If it's a movie or a TV series or whatever it is, I'm not sure what he's planning on for it, right? Now, let me just tell you guys, the Shadow Nation, all our listeners out there, I love this man. Not only is he a Hoosier like myself, but Doug in general. You are an amazing human being. I mean, you didn't feel like you're interviewing a superstar like you are. You're just a normal guy. You're a guy you want to pull up a stool and have a beer with. And everybody's ever asked us about that. That's what we said. I think Doug Jones is the most approachable person in the biz right now. But
that's very sweet. Thank you. That's very kind of you, Sean.
Absolutely. You didn't pay me or nothing. I tried to tell these people. Aww. Doug pays very little. Guys.
No, I didn't.
No,
I had the paper trail to prove that I owe you something.
I know you do. I want my money. No, they. Well, you were supposed to come to Indiana last time. We never get a phone call. Nate, did you get a phone call? I never. No,
I did not. But I'm in Connecticut.
He's a businessman. I know, but I'm here. He's a busy man. But feel bad, Doug. Anyway,
I'm sorry. What was that? Why?
Since Billy,
did I promise I'd call when I was in town? I'm sorry.
Oh, that's terrible. Can't you act like we're friends for an hour?
No, I'm sorry.
We were supposed to do the whole steak dinner thing.
Yeah. It's terrible.
Next year for Indiana Comic-Con, you'll come out. We'll all get together.
I know. I want to come to a con back home, and there's a couple, right?
Yeah.
We've been doing Indiana Comic-Con now, and we had a blast. I got to say.
Is that what it's called? Indiana Comic-Con?
Yeah. And they have the Horror Hound every year, so you could do either one of those. And they have the Days of the Dead here locally. So.
Right. Well, I did Horror Hound once there, and that's the only convention I've actually done in Indianapolis.
Yeah,
and that's been golly, that was at least 5-6 years ago now.
I think Comic-Con's in April. Yeah, we gotta hook you up with that. I
gotta come back.
Yeah, but Doug, since you've done Billy Butcherson and Hocus Pocus.
Aw.
People,
Sean's just going to talk about this for an hour
my
now.
God.
That's his favorite show ever.
it's a classic.
Yeah.
It's a classic. Oh, my God. I mean, Bette Midler, all these people you played with, and you brought it home, sir. And it's a perfect...
Well, bless you.
Yeah, and it's a perfect Halloween story. And yet again, sir, you came out swinging. You brought the Smash Mouth to the door, baby, with Ouija, Origin of Evil, that you came out with last month in October. Oh, my God. How did you get involved? What's up with it?
Ouija Part 2. It was the director. The director is Mike Flanagan. Mm-hmm. And Mike Flanagan, I was in his very first feature film that he'd produced independently on a very shoestring budget, using his credit cards and using his own house as the location shoot.
Right.
But this movie was called Absentia. And the thing is, and that was living proof that if you can write, if you can direct, and if you can get to see your friends together who are the best actors you know, you don't have to have $1 billion to make a great movie. So he made a movie for just like zero budget and asked me if I would do a cameo in it. So that's Absentia. We met, worked together. He was great script. And the way he edited this movie together, the footage that he had was so intriguing and suspenseful and mysterious and scary. It was more about that old school of horror film where you're more scared about what you can't see than what you can. So there was not blood and guts on the wall. It was what's around the corner, right? So Absentia was just that. And it ended up getting distributed pretty widely and ended up becoming the #1 horror film on Redbox that year and yada, yada. So that gave him a name, and he went on to direct Oculus, that scary movie.
Oh, yeah.
And then he's done a couple others in the meantime. So he's been contacting me every time he has a movie. He's got a part for me in everything he does. And the first time I've been available to him was for Ouija Part 2. So we filmed it last fall. It just came out a few weeks ago, and it did really well at the box office for a horror film. It did great. And I play a ghoul. And my name it's explained who I am in the story by another character, but my name is Marcus, and I'm what lurks on the other side of a Ouija board. So it's kind of a cautionary tale. Like you maybe think twice before you play with one of those things. You know what I'm talking about?
Never play in a graveyard. Never play alone.
Right. Never play with a Ouija board.
That's right.
And there was a second character too. I worked another couple days doing this one terrifying scene where I was an apparition of a torture doctor from like Nazi Germany days, right? Kind of showing up in the cellar, and so it's a hazy vision of what might have gone on in this cellar before or something. And anyway, so I had to shave my head down to the skin for this scene. And it was great, and it was disturbing as could be. And apparently that scene has been now cut from the film, which is unfortunate. So maybe DVD bonus features, maybe it'll have deleted scenes. Who knows?
Hey, I do have to say, though, Doug, when you did... Now, you say... It's very interesting, because you say Ouija Part 2. Now, your friend, the director, took a very hard spanking over the first Ouija film, and I thought it was good. But critics...
He didn't direct the first one, so that spanking was not his.
Okay. Well, the director of the first one, and they linked that. You say Part 2 because they linked that together. I consider it a standalone. You know?
Right. Do you? Yeah.
Is that what it is, though? It's considered Ouija Part 2 as add-on to that?
It is. Well, because it's owned by the same company. The game company actually is the rights holder to this property. So...
Okay.
If it bears their name again, it's a sequel. Yeah.
If they can make a movie out of Battleship, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Which was not an exciting board game, if I remember correctly. Right?
No, it really is not. But I will say there have been a few rainy days that I sat there playing it.
Did you?
I wanted to throw this out to you because Nosferatu. How did it feel to walk in these footsteps of Max Schreck?
Well, thank you for mentioning this. Nosferatu is yet another film title that I've already filmed and has not come out yet. I think we owe a couple of days of post-production pickup shots to do. We have some additional photography to do, and the visual effects are extensive on this, so it's taking quite a while because Nosferatu, it was a dream role for me. I've been wanting to play that vampire, that specific vampire, for decades. I really have, because I've always wanted to play a vampire, but I'm not pretty enough to be the sparkly kind, you know? So,
me either.
Well,
right,
they're not really vampires. They're just like crybabies in a tree.
Well, it's like a cast of any CW show with fangs, right? So,
Yeah.
So and there's an audience for that, and I don't begrudge them that. But I wanted to play like more of a classic black and white, old school vampire, and Count Orlok from Nosferatu is exactly the one I wanted to be. So David Lee Fisher, the director, called me up one day and said, "Doug, hey, it's your old friend David. I got an idea. Yeah. Have you heard of Nosferatu? Do you want to play him?" I'm like, "Whoa, do I?" And this is decades in the making of me lusting after that role. Well, David and I had worked together before, doing also translating another silent film from that era, the 1919 silent film, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
Oh my God!
We made a version in 2005 of that. And I played Cesare, the killer of the movie, and it was a very stylized German expressionism film, and it was a silent film that he made into a talkie. So he added dialogue but what we did is it was instead of a remake, he was calling this a remix. And by remix, he meant that he created matte shots off the old film. So all of the sets and all of the scenery and everything that you see the world we're playing in is the original film that he digitally took the other actors out of, and then created a green screen world for us to play in, and then married the two together in post-production. Right. So the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari 2005 is a combination of old movie and our new movie with added dialogue that explains the old movie better. Because, silent films, you have minutes go by where someone's shaking their head and a finger and then
then words
dialogue
flash on the screen.
Right, and it's like yes, mother, and you're like, wait, hey, he said more than that, right? So this the dialogue wasn't reimagining the story at all. It was actually staying very true to that original silent film, but helping explain what you missed. So he wanted to do the same thing with Nosferatu, which I knew that David Lee Fisher was the guy I would be in very safe hands doing this. Right. So of course I jumped at the chance, and even got one of my Falling Skies co-stars to play the object of my desire in the movie, and that would be Sarah Carter. Sarah Carter played Maggie on Falling Skies, and so she was the young ingenue, the young wife who was. Why Count Orlok comes to live next door to them and seek her out. So anyway, it was just so great to be able to work with and Jolie Fisher is in it as well, and Emery's Cooper, and we have a great cast, and we had a little bit of a budget for this one, more than we had for Caligari. So, and the technology is 10 years better now. So combining the old Nosferatu film from 1922 with our new actors and our dialogue and all, it stays very true to the story. And is just a complete homage to the original piece, but crawling into Max Schreck's shoes, like you asked originally. I'm sorry about an hour ago.
That's okay.
I was extremely humbled, and it always terrifies me. It terrified me to step into Conrad Veidt's shoes for the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. It scares me. It scared me when I played the Silver Surfer to crawl into a Marvel character that was so beloved for so many years by so many fans. So whenever you're taking on a property that's already had an audience built in for it, and that is beloved in some way by an audience, it should scare you, and right. you should want to do that character justice, do that property justice, because you owe it to those fans who have been so loyal to that property for all these years. So Nosferatu, of course, has a humongous following for forever, and the horror fans especially, and the vampire fans are very loyal to that piece. I mean, he still plays the original 1922 film still plays every Halloween somewhere in a live theater with live music playing. Right, it's an event.
Right.
So to do a remix of that now it's a daunting task, and it's very scary because you don't want to suffer the criticism that might come with that. You really want to help celebrate the old film with the fans who love it, and that's what we I hope we accomplish with this.
Yeah,
I don't know if you at all are a comic book fan.
Well, I love the Archies. That's what I didn't do the superheroes so much. Some Superman, some Dick Tracy as a kid, but mostly Archies. And then I've read more comic books as an adult when I book a role that like requires some study. Then I'll dig back.
I just know that a few years we have a friend of the show, both Mark Ellis and Melissa Martin Ellis. Have both been on our show, and a few years back they did the comic book version, or the graphic novel, the graphic novel.
That's right, if you're going to be posh.
Of Nosferatu Plague of Terror, which is a recreation of the movie in comic book form.
Oh, how fun.
So, something you might want to check out just to have a look-see. You know, after you're done doing the filming, look at this and go, oh, well, I didn't think of that, but I did that, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
You know, because it's all in there, because it was Nosferatu Plague of Terror, and it was I got it, and it was very, very good. I'm a Nosferatu fan. Just like, you know, for me, one of the big mask, you know, the masked characters of movie history is Mr. Sardonicus, which was the William Castle film. And
nice.
You know, it was and that's where actually what you were saying about ghouls earlier made me think of that, because one of the best descriptions of a ghoul of all time is in the 1961 movie Mr. Sardonicus. I can't get that word out of my mouth tonight. Mr.
No, you
Sardonicus. So
ring the bell.
And I'm still not even sure what the definition of a ghoul is exactly, and I just played one. So
he gives the best definition of a ghoul, which is someone who feeds off the dead. And
off the dead.
Yes.
Interesting. Because they were calling me the Ghoul Marcus in Ouija 2.
Yep.
But I was actually more like trying to feed off the living. It's the two young sisters in the story. I terrorized both of them. One scene for each of them. Yes.
Right. A little insight on the movie Mr. Sardonicus. It's actually a movie that takes place, I think, in the early 1900s during the French lotteries. If you remember, they had those lotteries where you could win money. It was the early lotteries. And a father buys a lottery ticket and dies, and they bury him. And the son has to go back and dig up the father because he had the lottery ticket in his pocket that they buried him in when he died.
Yeah.
well,
And
that's
so
what
he
they
digs
dig.
him up.
I would dig him up too.
And
thanks, Bob.
The sight of his corpse's father scares him so much that his face freezes.
His father's corpse.
In a scowl or a grin, a face of fear, and he can't move his face. And, of course, he's got millions of dollars now because of the lottery, and he pays off his wife, and she leaves, but he becomes a man of evil and takes on the name Mr. Sardonicus, and calls himself a ghoul because he is fed off of the dead.
He's fed off the dead. I see. Okay.
And it's for me, that's the classic kind of film like that. But, hey, a few things I also wanted to ask you. Rumors of upcoming movies.
Okay, let's hit him.
Hellboy 3.
Oh, there's the number one question of the day. I don't hold your breath for that one, I'm told.
Okay.
Because that's been by the way, IMDb.com. I think it acts like Wikipedia at times. When anybody can slap a credit up there for you. So I think there's been the talk of Hellboy 3. Started when Ron Perlman said he wanted to come back and do it again.
All right.
And that made the internet go a forest fire blazed across the web, right? And so then of course I chimed in, Selma Blair chimed in. We would love to join him for a part 3, absolutely. So that made some fans say, "You guys, it's happening! It's like it's out next week." No, not even close. And Guillermo del Toro also would love to direct a Hellboy 3 and has a storyline in mind for it to finish off the trilogy. So if all the creative people involved want to make a third movie and it's not being made, you can probably guarantee that it's a studio/money issue, and that's outside my expertise. So I'm assuming that something went amok with budget or too much of one.
Amok.
Yeah, well, and our studio affiliation has might have run out as well. That's what happened after Hellboy 1. We were at Sony Pictures for that.
They have the affiliation for 10 years, correct?
I don't know how. It depends on the contract on that particular one. Because like Hellboy 1 was at Sony, and then Universal did Hellboy 2, and now it's been 8 years later, and now we're without a studio again. So I'm not sure what the terms and limits were on the contracts for that.
Hey, I would just like to point out to you that a while back I used to manage movie theaters. And all the kids would wear their little name tags of their favorite movie and their favorite actors. Oh, and we were sitting around one day, and I was sitting with this group, and I was like, who's your actor to put on your name tag and stuff? And one of the young men said, Doug Jones.
Nuh-uh.
And I looked up and said, Doug Jones? And he goes, well, you probably don't know him because people don't know his face because he does all these monsters and stuff like that. But he was in Hellboy and blah, blah, blah. And it was literally right after you'd come on the show, and I said, know him? I just talked to him last week. Yeah. And the kid just almost died right there on the floor. Almost died. But I wanted to tell you that story.
That's a great story. I'm gobsmacked that somebody would think of putting me on their name tag as like my favorite actor.
Hey, Doug, I wanted to ask you real quick. You growing up, I wanted to go back here. I know we're going back to
Indiana. Come on now. Let's go home.
Let's go home. Back to when you were a kid, a lot of actors, because clearly you, like it or not, you becoming an icon in the field of horror and, of course, sci-fi. A lot of people, a lot of actors say something in their life happened to kind of drive them in that area. And we, over the last 10 years on this show, we've covered horror to actual paranormal events, stuff like that. Did you ever have anything weird happen when you were growing up? Or what was it you think might have pushed you in that area?
Nope, not at all. In fact, here's the thing. I pursued a career as an actor. I did not pursue crazy makeups that put me into the sci-fi genre, and I didn't. But when you walk into Hollywood land, 6'3.5", 140 pounds, and with a mime background, so movement is a part of your deal, and the contortion thing, you're flexible. The creature effects make people go, there he is, right? And so to build stuff on a frame like that and have it be able to move around like that with that skill set, I guess, I did not know that was a career option. I didn't know that would be what would define me later on in life. So what I do now and the types of movies I'm in is a surprise. Always a surprise to me, because if I had I didn't have like a dark something in my past. I need to get my demons out by playing them on film and that kind of thing. Not really. I'll tell you, one of the most satisfying experiences I had in recent years was when I got to do a Hallmark Channel movie last year. I'm serious. Okay. Oh, so that's the genre that I love. I love watching sappy. I love sappy, good, happy ending. Stories where pretty people are telling a pretty story at a pretty setting. So I got to be in one of those last year. It was called the Ultimate Legacy with Raquel Welch, right? Oh. And Brian Dennehy was in it, and Lee Merriweather, one of the original Batwomen, or Catwoman.
Cat, yeah.
She was a Catwoman back in the early days, with Adam West, and Mr. Bill Cobb's. It was just what a feel good story that was. Classics. The Ultimate Legacy, and I know. Mm-hmm. And so if you ask me what drew me to horror? No, I was drawn to Hallmark Channel movies, and somehow the horror world stole me, kidnapped me.
And now I'm possessing children. Yeah, that's kind of the flip flop it takes in Hollywood.
Right, but it is fun. It is fun to play a colorful bad guy. Now, but my career has been sort of like even under heavy, crazy makeups, I've played a kind of an equal number of good guys and bad guys. The good guys being the Silver Surfer, Abe Sapien, even Fawn the Pan the Fawn from Pan's Labyrinth.
Still weird though. The Fawn
weird.
Was weird.
And he was. There was trickery there, and you didn't know if he was good or bad till the end, but he was good. And then Billy
personally,
from Hocus Pocus.
Playing the Angel of Death in Hellboy 2 was one of my favorites.
Oh my god!
Right, which was also kind of foreboding character, but also helpful. I healed Hellboy and sent him on his way, didn't I? So I did good.
You did good.
Yeah. So, and for those who don't know, listening, I did play multiple characters in Hellboy 2. That's what we're referring to. I wasn't just Abe Sapien. I was also the Angel of Death and a character called the Chamberlain. You'd have to look that one up.
Aren't we supposed to do that, Doug? In the middle. By the way, guys, we're talking to Doug Jones, star of Ouija and Hellboy. And you've done so much. How am I supposed to bump in every 5 minutes and say all this? Yeah.
I know. You're not. You're not.
It's Doug Jones. Wikipedia.
Quick little side here before Sean steals you back for more of this. I got to throw this in there, especially for Sean. Rumors on Facebook of a Hocus Pocus 2.
Oh, there you go. And those rumors are on Facebook, mind you.
Yeah.
So
that's not true.
That means the rumors are not coming from Disney Studio. They're probably coming from very excited fans who would hope for a Hocus Pocus 2. I'm one of them. I would also love to reprise Billy Butcherson and come back for Hocus Pocus 2. Yeah. You might have seen some fan artwork that looks like a legitimate movie poster. Hocus Pocus 2, they're taking over New York City or whatever. The Witch is back or something like that.
Yeah.
No, it was a great poster, and it's so. But it was created by a fan somewhere. It's not official.
Yeah.
But there has been talk at Disney Studios of reprising the Hocus Pocus and making a sequel, maybe a 20 years later story where the kids have grown up and have kids of their own now or whatever. But if that does happen, Billy Butcherson would be a part of it, I believe. Yeah. And without any question, I would absolutely jump back in, and I would love to play that character again. And because that movie has become a part of my heart and soul over these 23 years since
Doug,
it came out.
What would Billy look like these days? He would have to look pretty wicked, like some bones.
He'd probably look like something from Walking Dead.
well, think about it though. He was 300 years old and brought up from the grave. Back then,
that's
right?
true. That's true.
So I can't imagine him looking much worse.
Well,
and remember, it's a Disney kids film, so it needs to stay light and fluffy. It can't.
At this point, he's probably been running a bookstore in Salem. So
exactly. Because
if you've ever hung out in the real Salem, he looks a lot like the people who run the bookstores there.
Right. A little weathered, a little don't see daylight much, that kind of thing. Aww. But they're smart. I'll bet they're smart people.
Oh, they are very, very smart.
Yeah.
Hey,
yes.
Another side question, really fast here. Just, do you, this is one thing that just popped in my head one night. Do you do the answering machine messages for David Hyde Pierce?
Now your audience is scratching their heads, going, "What's he talking about?" No. The answer is no. I do not. I'm sure.
I thought I would just find that really funny if you did that. That's why I thought of it.
Right. Well, for those who don't know, David Hyde Pierce voiced over me as Abe Sapien in the first Hellboy movie, but I did voice myself in Hellboy 2: The Golden Army, and in the animated films Hellboy: Sword of Storms and Hellboy: Blood and Iron, and the video game Hellboy: Science of Evil. So,
and here's just a notch for you. Nobody knew until they were told. Your voice was so perfect. It was like you said, "This is my voice, but I'm going to do it so that it matches that first movie," and you did it so wonderfully.
Oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you. Actually, the performance you heard in Hellboy 2 was exactly what I did on camera for Hellboy 1. But at that time, I was an unknown, and the studio thought it would be wise to have to attach the name of a bigger actor to voice Abe Sapien in Hellboy 1. It was a kind of a box office draw, hopeful thing that happened. And David Hyde Pierce was very much a huge gentleman. We might have talked about this 3.5 years ago.
I think we did.
I get asked about this all the time, and it is a story that has been told and told and told, so I don't want to be redundant or boring to anybody. But David Hyde Pierce did me a huge favor, and when he was called in to voice over me, he stepped back from his microphone and said, "What am I doing here?" when he heard my performance in his earpiece and saw me on film. So he ended up doing his job, but then not wanting to take credit for it. So it's on IMDb, it's on the website, but it's not on, if you actually watch the film, his name does not appear in the main titles. It does not appear in the rolling credits at the end. It is, he wanted to stay anonymous about it. And when asked why, he said it's out of respect to Doug Jones, which is just unheard of and so sweet of him. Amazing. He did not need to do that.
I got to say, I've always liked him. So
yeah.
Well, hey, Dougie, I
So-
know we've kept you over, sir, about 20 minutes. And, hey, you're my favorite Hoosier. What can I say? I just wanted to
very
say,
kind.
and then I'm going to give you back to Nate. I love you. Where can our listeners find out more about you? How can we stalk you more? And the thousands around the world, how can they get you?
I'm extremely stalkable on all the social medias.
Oh.
And for an old guy, I'm the oldest teenager you know. So I'm like very active with my social medias. So that would be if you search. My screen name on most of them is Actor Doug Jones. No punctuation, just all run together. Actor Doug Jones. That's on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Tumblr, and I'm now on the Snapchat as well.
Oh.
There you go.
Actor Doug Jones and all the above.
Hey, I just got to ask you, Doug, do you watch The Walking Dead?
Have done. I've seen episodes here and there. I've not. There's very few series that I can actually watch religiously. But why do you ask?
Have you watched it recently?
No, I haven't seen more recent seasons. No.
Because Sean and I didn't get to do our Rot Talk this evening, and I was hoping you would join us for
Talk. What pray tell is Rot Talk?
Where we discuss what we basically discuss what we think is going on in The Walking Dead. But if you haven't watched it, I understand.
I would sit here and go, huh? Really? Oh, that's my.
Sean, do you want to just play that music so we will officially have done Rot Talk this evening?
I'm playing the music right now, guys. We're playing Rot Talk with Doug Jones. There's nothing else I can say. This is the segment where we talk about what happened last week, what we think is going to happen this week on that show we know and love, The Walking Dead. Nathan?
So let's try and get Doug involved with The Walking Dead. So Doug, basically,
no, I haven't seen it.
Even though you haven't seen it, basically what's happened is this incredibly neurotic, dangerous person named Negan has shown up with a baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire and takes over everything he finds by bashing people's heads in.
Yeah.
Now, this doesn't sound very artistic, and it's not. And Sean, I got to say, I was not particularly impressed with last week.
Well, I think I was. I think the story's unfolding just right. I think Doug needs to be in a couple more episodes, so we can actually make it last longer. You know what I'm saying? Doug would be perfect for
Doug
the show.
could be that zombie that never dies.
Doug could be anybody. No, but I think it was good last week, Doug. I mean, since you didn't see it.
I'm going to trust you on this. I'll bet it was great.
It was good. Negan's definitely inflicting on the group that he is the big bad man with the leather jacket and the baseball bat, and he's trying to test the limits, see how much people will do for him, because he just killed two of their friends, beat their heads in with the baseball bat, and now he's saying, hey, hold this baseball bat that I killed your friend with while I ransack your joint, take all your money, your women and stuff, and I'll be right back. And that's how he's kind of throwing his thing down. Yeah.
I just don't think it needs to be in it. Go ahead, Doug.
And I was going to say, and people let him do this, get away with this.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Yeah. It's and I think it was an interesting storyline, but didn't deserve an hour and a half last week. And I think we'll be going back to a kind of Carol story tonight, Sean. Either Carol or a little bit more of Negan's village, but I don't think we're going to see a lot more of that because I don't think people were happy.
I agree with you, sir. Tonight, I'm going to make a big prediction and stop wasting Doug's time while I ramble about something he does.
Now I'm going to tune in tonight to see if you're right. Well, go on.
I am going to say that Negan or his group, gentlemen, will claim another big star tonight on The Walking Dead.
You think they're going to kill somebody else?
I think we're losing another one. We only have 3 more episodes to go to after tonight. Tonight it has to happen.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, that's Rot Talk, folks. And Doug Jones joined us for us tonight. Great. Thank you for your input, Doug. It's
sure.
Normally, we would never have made a guest sit through that with us, but we forgot to do it before you came on, and our listeners actually look forward to that. Yeah. So
here's Doug's writing down right now. Note to self: tell manager must kill in morning for letting me on this show again. Yeah.
Doug, I just do want to say one thing. Your photo on IMDb does make you look like you're a little annoyed at the photographer.
My main photo. Really?
Yeah. Really? You're taking a picture of me right now?
Oh, is it my bitch rest face? Is that what it was? Bitch rest?
Bitch resting.
Well, I kind of like the picture. It is
a good picture, and I got.
It was more of a subdued moment. That I can tell you where that was taken. I remember that it was one of the magical night of my life. That was taken at the 2007 Oscars when Pan's Labyrinth was nominated for 6 awards that night.
Wow!
And New Line Cinema sent me to the Oscars as a guest to work the red carpet. I had no nominations myself, but I was the only American actor in the film that spoke English as a first language. So I was the one that I made for better interviews. So I was there to work the red carpet, and that picture was taken during that time. And I remember it took me about an hour and a half to get from the mouth of the red carpet into the actual Kodak Theater at the time, now the Dolby Theater. Because it was a football field full of press from around the world. And it was exhausting. It was, your energy's up. You're on, and just every piece of you, every cell in your body's going, I'm tired. I got to lie down. I know that feeling. I was taking a breather between a bank of photographers and video press or whatever. And I must have turned right to the camera of my photographer who caught that little moment of not being on, and that's why I kind of liked it. It was kind of a real moment.
It's a super classy photo, but it just kind of speaks to me like, bitch, please.
Yes.
Yeah, which of course I say all the time to all my friends. Bitch, please.
All the people around the world. Bitch, please.
But I just wanted to say that because a lot of people, Sean and I live on IMDb. That's how we get in contact with folks, agents and stuff like that. Sure. Not everybody goes on there, but you've got, we were talking earlier, you've got this list of things that are supposedly in pre-production, post-production, completed, blah blah blah, and you were telling me not all of them are going to happen.
No. There's a couple on there that have been on there for 2 years, 3 years. I think there's got to be a way to take them down.
Don't you have any control, sir? You can.
No.
Don't want to take them off?
I think you can. I think if anyone can slap them up there, I think anyone can take them down too. I would. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I can.
That's the problem. Like you said, IMDb is quickly becoming the Wikipedia of movies. So it's,
well, Dougie, I tell you what, next up for you is Bye Bye Man. We're going to reach out again to try to get you on. If you haven't boycotted us by then, hopefully you'll answer your phone when Hollywood's calling you. Everybody, The Tonight Show, everything going on.
You sure? January 13th again, folks. Scary movie, The Bye Bye Man.
January 13th.
And is that in theaters across the country, Doug?
Yeah, that'll be opening wide in over 2,000 theaters across the U.S.
And I'm sure my wife will go to see it, and she'll drag me along. Not that I will need to be dragged, because it's your film, but she's the horror film
bitch, please
follower. Yeah,
that's my film.
She's the horror film fanatic in my house, and she'll come home, and I'll be like, "Honey, how was your day? Oh, great. We're going to see a movie. What are we going to see? We're going to see Blood, Guts, and Gore. Oh, great. Let's go."
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So Dougie, I'm looking forward to seeing when she comes home and says, "We're going to see Bye Bye Man." I'll actually turn to her and say, "Yes, let's go," and she'll be surprised. And
right. Well, that sounds like Well, the Bye Bye Man is a movie that Mrs. Laurie will not attend to the premiere with me because if it doesn't have bunnies or kittens in it, or then
not the Hallmark movies you like.
It's right, exactly. She'll watch Hallmark with me, of course.
Yeah. I'm here. They're casting for Little House on the Prairie comeback, Doug. So we have to.
Are they? Yeah, I would so be in that.
I had to do
Doug
it.
Doug is going to be playing the new Father Ingram.
Yes,
the Michael Landon part. Yes.
Na 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 na. Anyway,
totally.
Bitch, please.
Well,
anyway,
running down the field in the flowers, but
in the dress. I don't think Doug goes. Yeah,
I'm sorry, Sean. I pushed that past the limit.
Yeah, you did. Dougie, could we ask you to stay on the line 1 second before we can talk to you for 5 seconds right after the show?
Absolutely. I'm right here.
All right, Nathan. What do you say we pay the bills?
Oh, let's do it. It was worth it tonight.
What a show, everybody. The amazing, the one and only Mr. Doug Jones. Check him out at Facebook, Oh, God, he's done everything. Hellboy, Ouija, Pants Labyrinth, everything. Bye-bye, man. Coming out, guys, January 13th, around the world. Special thanks to all our homes, all our sponsors, Stitcher Smart Radio, Spreaker, the world's listening. How about you? They want to know? Spreaker.com, Planet Paranormal, and Geeky Antics Network. Serious Geeks, Silly Fun, GeekyAntics.net, Attentive Home Healthcare, AttentiveHC.com, and, of course, the S-Whale Project. Give, share, everybody needs. Nathan.
A little love.
The SWhaleProject.org. Check them out today. From the haunted back roads of America, this has been another exclusive Shadow Nation studio. Don't go changing America. You know we won't. Demon Hunter.
Because we love you.
Night, guys.